I'm going up yonder. Buenos dias. Going up yonder. Going up yonder. To be mine. Buenos dias. Buenas, buenas. Buenos dias. Hola, Greta, you're here, my friend. How are you? Happy last Sunday. I know. Can't believe it, right? I'm going to turn the other AC on. Dry season means that it gets a lot warmer. Yes, so because I only have the units in the bedrooms and the kitchen is like in the middle, so I have to do both so I can get some of that cool air, we hope. But anyway, this is going to be real simple today. I'm finally going to make the Dahl. Still dealing with basement. Wow. This is crazy. It must have come from some like a hole or an opening somewhere around the house. Yeah. I'm so sorry. All right. So today I have split red lentil. I have regular lentil, but I have the split also. I had some sweet potato. I do have some sweet potatoes that came from the haul, the delivery I had last week. I got some pretty cauliflower this week. Ooh. And you know, for my delivery this week, because the avocados were so good, so this time I said I did 2 orders. So the way they advertise is like 3 avocados for $5, which I think is a good price because we're not in season. So I'm like, oh, it was so good. So I went on the WhatsApp group where I got the lady and I said, she did a good job. I'm going to order again and, give her a good review. So this time I ordered 2 orders. I was supposed to get 6 avocados and I got 2 avocados. Well, they look a little bigger and I'm like, well, maybe they're thinking because, size is bigger, they give you less, which shouldn't matter. And then I went back and I'm like, but I ordered 2 orders. So I sent a text and I'm like, I took a picture. I said, I got 2 avocados. Where are the other 4? And then it was like hours later, I got this text that says, something to the effect that we couldn't find a lot of them at the market today, but I just forgot to tell you. And I'm like, you know what? Don't play that game. You don't want to go to Yelp or anything. Good morning, Deborah. You don't want to Yelp or anything, but it's like, don't play. If I order something you don't have it, let me know. Send me a text. So I'm like, no bueno. But anyway, but she had cauliflower, and I showed you, cauliflower is not easy to come by here in Panama. When you find them, you grab it, and usually it's like $7 to get one cauliflower. And they have the green ones too. So I got two for, there's a baby, a mama and a baby. So we're gonna use those today. And then I was like, what do I cook with this? And you know, I made curry. Curry is like a soupy bean thing. Usually I put, you can put sweet potato, you can put regular potatoes, you could do chickpeas, whatever beans you want to do. And then you get that thick consistency and you call it a curry. But if you recall, I had been thinking of doing a dal, right? And with the Dahl, I was chasing the cumin seeds, and I had the hardest time finding it. And then one day, I went to San Felipe, the little market here, and I found comino, which is what they call cumin, but in the seed, las semillas. And I think the lady called it, did she call it semillas? Semillas means the seeds. Anyway, so we got it. So we're gonna use that. So the Dahl, when you do research, you have to have the cumin seed, you have to have red chilies. I was able to find red chilies. And you can put coconut milk in it if you want. I don't have that. And you have to put onions, garlic, ginger, and tomatoes. I don't have tomatoes. But I do have some green peppers, so I'm going to substitute that for the green peppers. I don't have coconut milk, we're not going to worry about that. And I don't have, cilantro. They use a lot of cilantro. I don't have cilantro, but I have culantro. Who said I can't use culantro? So that's what we're going to do. So now, first thing we need to do is to cook the lentils. The lentils are going to take about 30 minutes, so we need to get that started now. And I also learned a word today, pulses. Pulses are what's inside a pod, right? If you have legume or you got beans, but if you have like the pea pod, that's the pod, but the pea inside is what they call pulse. So pulses could be chickpeas, lentils, green beans, and stuff like that. I'm like, I learned something new. All right, so this is the split chickpeas, lentils. Last time I bought lentils, when they're whole, they take a lot longer to cook. So, let's see, we're gonna do 2 cups today. And you rinse them 2 or 3 times to get rid of the starch. And only this little bit left. You know, I'm tempted to just throw the whole thing in there, but I won't. All right, so we're gonna rinse it, and then we're gonna use this pot. We're going to cook the chickpeas. It says you do like 4 cups of water to 1 cup of lentil. But anyway, who's counting? I'm just gonna put water in there and then cook that baby up. All right, so we're gonna rinse and add water. I think I'm gonna put them in here. I'll make it easier. The coriander. Oh, but some are going through there, so no bueno. Oh boy. All right. All right, so it took about 3 rinses. And we're gonna put that in. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas. Mine was quiet. Yesterday was a bit busy, but today, after I finish this is not gonna take long, maybe an hour. Then I'm going to maybe hop on a bus and do a bit of sightseeing. Sometimes I do that, right? If there is a bus I haven't been on, and I was like, oh, I wonder where it's going. When I do that, then I get to see around the neighborhood, around the city. All right, so in that, I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves. And because I'm always crazy about garlic, I'm just going to put a couple of smashed garlic cloves. Because you can't go wrong with garlic. That's what I say. Now just crush it and let it release all its beautiful flavor. But the recipe itself uses garlic, so. All right. I'm gonna put it in the back and cover it until it starts boiling, because it might boil over and then it gets like a little foam that you gotta take off. All right. So with the Dahl, you're going to toast the cumin seeds for them to release their flavor. You know, Indian cooking does a lot of that. I mean, I love Indian cooking, but the amount of spices they use is just overwhelming to me. So I don't like to use that much. Hola, Barbara. And so you toast the cumin seeds with the garlic and the onions. I don't even know if I have onions. I may not. And you know, next week I really have to get to the store, because I've been trying to cook whatever was left from the party from Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? And then I went and got some stuff for Christmas. Not a lot, but still I have to replenish. Like I have no time, no cilantro, and no bueno, you know. I have to get coconut milk and certain things. And I promised this sister I'm going to make her a pot of dressing, cornbread dressing. She was, when I was having folks over for Christmas, she's like, well, you know, if you make dressing, just leave me a little thing and let me know, I'll come get it. I said, okay. I said, I'll make you a pan for yourself. And she said, oh, good, and I'm not sharing. So I need to get celery and make the cornbread so I can make her that. That's good. But for the Dahl, while the beans are cooking, and then once, you know, they cook, not overcook, but just, you know, you can feel in between your fingers, then you bring it together. You add, if you had tomatoes, you would toast that too, right? Before you bring the lentils in. But I don't have tomatoes, but I do have the peppers. So I'm gonna cook that. And it's not jalapeno. I think those are poblano peppers, which is fine. And you have to use a lot of cilantro when you finish it off. I don't have cilantro, but I have culantro. All right, who says I can't use culantro? I'm going to use what I have. Okay. And also, when you're toasting the cumin, that's when you put turmeric. And for me, I'm going to Caribanize it and put some curry powder. And I think you can put some curry powder. And apparently they have different types of Dahls. You have those you make with lentils. You have those you make with split chickpeas. There's one you make with 5 different kind of lentils or beans. So listen. And apparently it's comfort food for in Indian cuisine. And you can serve it with naan bread. You can serve it with couscous or quinoa. Now, I was going to stay away from couscous, but I do have couscous. So let me know if you want me to put a little couscous. Now, I look at my different mismatched plates, and I think this is going to be the best dish to put it in. So if we do the couscous, I want you to tell me if you want me to. If not, I'm going to use roasted cauliflower, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do that. And then I have one of the avocados that is ready. So hopefully when I cut it into it, it's gonna be nice and buttery, and we'll see. If it's nice, we'll slice it. If it's not, we'll just scoop it as if we were gonna make guacamole, which we're not making guacamole because I don't have any lime. So I have to think. All right, so I'm thinking I'm gonna be on the lookout for a larger size plate because I think I just like the little height. That means it's not deep like my other dish that is good for soups. Soups, this is perfect because you don't want a dish to be too deep. Then if you want to take pictures, it's hard to take picture because it's so deep. Yeah, right. So we're gonna do roasted cauliflower. So while this is coming to a boil, and I need to make sure it's coming to a boil. I know what I do. I'll start it off on the large burner and then transfer it back there. Right? Because I need it to start cooking. And so I can decide if I just want to cook it, to serve it with the roasted cauliflower and the avocado. So it's definitely going to be Caribbeanized because I'm putting the avocado. It's not something you usually would put with Dahl, of course. It's an Indian dish, so basmati rice or naan bread. But you can serve it with quinoa. I don't have quinoa, but I do have couscous, and I think I like couscous just as much as I love quinoa. And the couscous cooks in like 10 minutes. It's so easy. So we can do that. All right. So now we're gonna get ready for the cauliflower. I thought about putting the sweet potato in it, then I'm gonna change my mind because it's not suitable for that kind of dish. So we're not gonna do that. It's not a curry, it's a dal, right? All right. So we're gonna put the cauliflower in something like this. I have one that's flat, but that works. That works. All right. Now I am not going to put florets, you know, like the little crown. I want to slice it because I want to be able to just display it on the side of the plate. Gotta think. Right? And then it's gonna cook faster. And of course, I want to dust it with some turmeric and curry powder also, so it can give me, and also paprika. We're just looking for color, right? So remember, you eat with your eyes. So whatever you're cooking, you always want to have the contrast, whether you have greens, you want red, you want yellow. And isn't that what they say? That the food that you eat, make sure it's colorful. That means it is good for you. All right. Let's get the cauliflower. And then I'm going to save the bottom. I need to make some stock today. So that will work. There's my knife. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? Yeah. Yes. We're going to throw that in there. And that's going to go for my stock. Now, cauliflower rice is super expensive too. When you go into the frozen section, so I'd rather buy the fresh and make it myself. All right? Oh, that's beautiful. I love cauliflower. Cauliflower. That's what we call it in Espanol. Cauliflower. All right. I love Matthew McConaughey. I like him. He seems to be a good human. But you know, you just never know. When you feel like you can't trust people, I think it's one of the saddest things. I want to be the person that if I say something, you can take it to the bank, right? That I don't change my mind, I don't flip-flop. I can't change my mind about certain things. And I think it's a sign of maturity that once you get some facts, you say, oh, you know, I didn't have all the facts. I think I see why that would be different from what I originally thought. That kind of mind change is good. Right? So nobody is right all the time. You have to be able to get to the point where you say somebody else is right and you are in the wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people are so proud, they'll never admit that they're wrong. That's a weakness to me. That's a weakness because that means you can't acknowledge that somebody else knows something that you don't know. Oh my God. Don't you have people like that that know it all? I have people who are experts in everything. They have the answer. I mean, I know somebody like that. It doesn't matter what the question you ask, she came up with the answer. And I'm like, are you an encyclopedia or what? Now I will tell you AI. That just bothers me. When someone is always, the person in the know. You know, you got to say, you know what? I don't know. Let me find out. I respect that. All right, so I'm going to mix stock with this. I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves and some garlic. And that's how I always have to have stock in the house, right? Because if you need to season something, you already have your stock. So whenever you're getting something off, like from a broccoli or cauliflower or anything that you're picking up that is a vegetable, save it. Throw some water in there, put some garlic and bay leaves, and boom, shakalaka, you have stock. Not, whoop, there we go. That's what I was trying to avoid. Ooh, I missed it. The splashing. I wasn't paying attention. Kind of remind me of when I got robbed. I wasn't paying attention. I was pickpocketed. Oh, Maggie, you were not robbed. You were pickpocketed. Okay, whatever. Just like the people now are gonna say, you are an immigrant, you are not an expat. You keep calling yourself an expat. And I'm like, whatever, you can call me whatever you want. I do not care. All right, so now we're going to skim that white stuff up. That's what I was trying to catch. You get that when you cook lentils. Oh boy, it expands, doesn't it? Might have to add a little bit more water or some of that stock. All right. So I'm going to put this in the back now. Turn this off. I'm going to add a little bit more water to the pan. It's going to make a nice amount of dal. And I am using my cast iron, not cast iron, the Dutch oven to cook the dal today. I haven't used it in a while. All right, let's finish with the cauliflower. You know what I'm on the lookout for? I need to buy a big glass bowl and also a aluminum bowl. When I'm using the mixer, I need that. I need the glass bowl. So, all right, I'm gonna turn the oven on because it needs to be warm. All right, and with the cauliflower, instead of leaving him like this, I'm just gonna go straight through, so then that way it can be sliced. Did I tell you guys that Christmas Eve is called Noche Buena here? Noche Buena, not Buena Noche, Noche Buena. And apparently it is a Spain kind of tradition for them on Christmas Eve. The family gets together, they sing song, they eat while they're waiting for the birth of Christ. They wait for, midnight to herald in the birth of Christ. Yep. And then we're going to have 3 kings, where the kings come and bring gifts to the kids. I think I'm scheduled to volunteer with our kids for that one. So we're going to have to bring gifts. I think I signed up to bring apples. I'll tell you, the volunteers are very committed to this group of kids. I mean, they had lots of gifts for Christmas. I didn't go to that one because it kind of conflicted with my schedule. Just trying to get some flat. It's not easy. And your cauliflowers, they are very delicate. So I'm just going to toss them into some herb oil. I still have some herb oil. And a few more little spices. Yes. See? That's what I'm looking for. Peas. This thing just filled the plate. And it looks like they're already done. The lentil. Yeah, I'm gonna try to, otherwise it's gonna be a soupy mess. I've got some, but they don't all follow suit. And then there's another Mediterranean plate I want to make. I have some chicken wings in the freezer. So you cook some wings, and then you use carrots, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, you know, and then you just you roast all these veggies, right? And then you have like an arugula salad like in the middle, and then you have all that, a nice dressing, all these beautiful veggies. Oh my, that sounds so amazing. And I'm just thinking of the look, you know, it's a feast for the eye. Oh, yes. Well, I might do that for the first of the year, first Sunday. You know how long this is taking me? It's because these florets are very delicate. All right. I think we're good here. All right, let me give you the nice little rinse. Okay. So now we are going to season our pretty cauliflower. I still have some herb oil. Remember when I poached the tuna? Yep, still here, a little bit. And you know what, in Indian cuisine, they use a lot of ghee, which is clarified butter. And I have not bought ghee, but it is apparently super healthy in terms of fat. So let's put some salt, pepper. Okay, herbe de Provence, you know, my newest obsession. Cumin. And some adobo, a little bit, because I put salt already. Now, turmeric. I need to get a bigger container of turmeric. and curry powder. All right. So now we just toss. Paprika. Because you know we're looking for color. Alright. Gonna roast these beauties. And in the oven we go. All right. Now, to get started with the Dahl. This is for my vegetable broth. All right. But I want to show you how much the peas have it cooks so fast, and I didn't want it to be too mushy, so that's good. And I think the amount of liquid is good too, because you need to have some liquid for the Dahl. Alright, so let's get our Dutch oven on here. I'm still going to make some bread in here one day. Need some focaccia. Alright, let's see. Do I have any onions left? And if I don't, nope. Alright. So no onions. And I was thinking about that anyway. There is a Dahl, a recipe I saw someone make. When you do the Dahl, usually towards the end, you use some ghee, and then you toast some sliced garlic with the chili peppers. What else would they put in there? And maybe some of that cumin seed, and then you cook it, and then you pour it on top of the Dahl after it's done. But I also saw a recipe where they did that with red onions that they fried, and then they put it on top. That's good. I used to do that with my blue burgers at the restaurant. We used to fry red onion, then put it on top of the burger with the blue cheese. Listen. And I remember going to Sam's and getting that log of ground beef. And it had to be 80-20, 20% fat. It's like, ooh, Maggie. But now that I have these beautiful leeks, I'm going to use some of that to replace the onion that I don't have. Why not? You got to think outside the box. Okay? So I'm going to use that. That's why, you know, I say I'm only creative in the kitchen. All right, so I don't have onions, but I have leeks. No onions, but leeks will do. So I'm gonna slice very thin, and then I'm gonna put it in here to act like onions. And towards the end, I'll do the same. Okay, all right. Now the leeks, usually the green part, you have to really wash it really well. I don't recall tasting leeks. Oh, leeks, it's like a big green onion. That's what it is. So we use it mostly, you know, to season stuff. You put it in soups and stuff, and it kind of elevate your taste. All right. So now, I don't have ghee, so we're just using regular oil. And I'm gonna cut, this is gonna be like onions. All right. So let's put it in. Now the cast iron heats up very fast, so I have to watch whatever I am cooking here because it will burn. Yep. Speak of the devil. It started to burn as I was talking about it. All right. I am going to put the garlic. Actually, let me put the cumin seeds in here first. So we know. All right. The cumin seeds have to toast. Yep, that's good. Maybe like a teaspoon, maybe. Now it is off the heat for now. Then I'm gonna get my garlic in here. And ginger. Well, you all know me and garlic. I'm leaving 2 cloves for the oil for later, but I'm gonna put those in. There is I make a soup called broccoli and leek soup. Oh my God, so good. But no, we're not gonna make that. I don't need the potato, but it is yummy. And I remember last time I made it, when I finished it, and I put some herb oil on the top with the fried onions. Apparently, it's something that is very common that we do for soups and curries and stuff like that. That we just fry the onion and put them on top. It just adds to the taste and the texture, right? That contrast, definitely. Now, if I had jalapeno, I would chop a little bit in there while it's toasting. I don't have that. Jalapenos are hit or miss here. You just see it, you buy it, you can go months, you don't see it after that. So, just beware. Not everything is accessible, available all the time. Nope. Today you see it, tomorrow you don't. It's like, okay. I see the same thing for my shampoo. You know, you go one day, you find it, the next day, it could be months, you don't see it again. So I keep having to change brands. I don't like that, but those are the kind of things you adjust to when you move abroad, okay? Just understand. So don't let it become a big dissatisfier. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll use the other one. I mean, one time I was able to find a nice shampoo for my type of hair. then I haven't seen it since. So I tried different ones and it's like, oh no, I'm still not getting it. So it's like, okay, what do I do? Now I'm gonna add a couple of bay leaves. When you add the bay leaves, when it's toasting, it's good too. It kind of releases the flavor of the bay leaf. So all this is building flavor, okay? Then we're gonna get the ginger in there. Now if I had tomatoes, that would be the time when I would add the tomato and cook the tomato out till it gets really soft. Oh, I forgot I said I had peppers, okay? All right, let's again move off the heat. I had a bit of ginger left from the saril that I made. And then I put it in the fridge and they got really dry. So I have to make sure I remember to put them in a bag. But you know, Asian cooking uses a lot of ginger. And I'm all for that because I love ginger. I put ginger in my poultry, I told you. My chicken. And you know, it's all good for you. All that antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. Learn to love ginger, not just in tea. You know, the Chinese use ginger a lot in their dishes. So, I like that. Like a chicken with broccoli. Oh, I used to love that. With the white rice. This might be a bit much in terms of ginger, but I would use half of it. But because I love ginger, I'm going to use it. Because it's for me. I'm not cooking for anybody else. If I was cooking for someone else, I would say, oh, they probably don't want to taste that ginger. But since I chopped it, I'm using it for me. For moi. Alright, let me get the peppers ready. These look like poblano peppers. Where did I get those? I can't remember. Okay, I'll use these two. I use these to replace in place of the tomatoes that I don't have. You will say, well, how can you replace tomatoes with peppers? Yeah, because I can, right? I'm not on a show where everything has to be classic, right? So I'm using what I have to enhance the taste of my dish. And peppers are good for that. You can put them in your stock as well. Okay? Now remember, the lentils are small pieces, so you're going to do small dices. Because everything needs to be in scale, right? You don't want to have big chunks and then little dices. No bueno. Even if you're cooking for yourself, just make sure you use good cooking techniques, then it becomes habit, right? You don't have to think about it. Okay, garam masala, I also have that. I'm definitely going to add a little bit of that in here because that is all Asian flavor we're trying to build up here. But I think, yes, coconut milk would have been really good for this dish. But no tengo leche de coco. When I was trying to learn piano, that was one of my favorite little songs to play. Yep, I went to a time where I wanted to learn to play the piano, but I was terrible. I remember my sister, she's so bad. She said, well, sis, are you ready to give us a concert yet? Like, you bad thing. All right, okay, we don't have any chili, but you know what? We don't have chili. We don't have chilies, but we do have Scotch bonnet. So, listen. We're gonna Caribbeanize this doll. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this, but not, I might have a whole, but I also need a little bit of heat because, you know, the Indians, they have heat. All right? So I have these dried chilies, but I'm gonna put these in the oil that we're gonna top it with. Check on my cauliflowers, don't want them to burn. All right, so I think that's enough of the Scotch bonnet, but I will definitely put a hole in here, and those, we're just getting the flavor from the skin. It's not gonna do anything to it. But when I open this here, there's gonna be a little heat, but not too much, because the heat is in the seeds. All right, and of course we're gonna we're gonna spice it up now. And put our turmeric and curry powder, because we want to have that color. So we're gonna go up a bit in the heat. Heat. Pepper. Alright. Ow. I don't think the Provence is something that they would want to put in there, but garam masala, oh, yes. Adobo, no, that's not what I want. Oh, it's down here. Garam masala, Indian blend. And of course I can't read what's in it. The ingredients. Este intenso, pero no picante. He said it's intense, but it's not hot. All right. Badilla. So probably has cinnamon and nutmeg and, oh yeah. Ooh. I smell it. I smell it. Okay. Now, I also had some margarine, and I'm going to add a little bit just because I like margarine. But you know, you could have put the cinnamon, I could have put the cinnamon, powder itself. Good night. Difficult to open it. Let's make a little thing here. So we're gonna put a little bit of the marjoram, not a lot. Okay. Okay, so now we go into the turmeric. We're gonna add. I think the lady said, one of the ladies who was cooking this, a little Indian mom, I gotta listen to Indian mom, right? She said about a teaspoon of the turmeric, and then I'm adding curry powder. Because remember, Indian cooking uses a lot of spices, so if you don't like spices, you're not gonna like Indian food. Alright? So now we are going to get ready to add our peas, our lentils. The cauliflower, just a little bit more, and then that'll be good. I think it's a little dry, so put a little bit of my oil. So I think about now I can turn the oven off and let it just sit in here. Alrighty. We're adding our peas, our lentils. Oh yeah. So that was 2 cups. Maybe it was a lot. Ooh, I can just smell the spices. So I'm going to leave a little bit of it left. Probably use it for something else. But I think that's just about what I need right now. Okay. Looking at the consistency, the color, yep. That's about what I want. And you want to scrape all the goodness from the bottom. This is a piece of garlic that cooked with the lentil. I'm going to crush it against the side so I don't lose anything. No. Okay. Alright, we're gonna let it cook a little bit. We have our cauliflower almost done. And then we are going to, this is gonna cook for a good 10-15 minutes here, okay? Because you want all the flavors to marinate. It needs salt. Yeah, and the recipe, when they cook, they use a generous amount of salt, but I'm careful with salt. So instead of salt, I'm putting a little bit of adobo. And I think the color of the dal is just right. I don't need to add more turmeric or anything else. All right, let it cook. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Let's clean up a bit. Remember, I'm gonna need 1 chili. Now those are very abundant here. Of course, you're in the Americas, right? Because they use chili a lot. So we find those dry chilies everywhere. Smells divine. So let's just use 3 of these. That's perfect. We have a couple of cloves of garlic that we're gonna slice, not crush. And, oh, you know what I forgot? The culantro. Oh yes, you gotta have culantro. And then you leave, the way they did it is you put some in to cook, and then you leave a little bit for garnish. Yes. First time making Dahl. I think I did good. Alrighty. As I said, we don't have cilantro. We do have culantro. But you know, porque no. Who says we can't? We already have curry powder in there. And Scotch bonnet peppers. We've already committed the cardinal sin of Caribbeanizing this Dahl. But that naan bread, or maybe roti. Oh, that would have been perfect. Ooh, I'm scared of roti. Because if I got into some of that, I'll not be able to stop. Ooh, especially when they beat it. Oh my God. And then you do Dahl and you just scooping it up with the Dahl. Oh, listen. We can hurt ourselves. Oh, why is this thing off? The burners were off. That's weird. Okay. So now we're just going to put some of that in and just leave a little bit for garnish because we're only doing 1 plate. So we're good. It looks really good. It reminds me of the sancocho that I did. Look at that. The color is just perfect. Yes. All right, culantro's here. Chili goes back in. All right. So we're gonna leave the rest of my lentil to cook something else. I have some leftover chicken breast, so maybe tomorrow I'll just make something out of it. But the 2 cups was really too much. So I used about 1 cup. All right. So now we're getting ready to do our oil. And I am going to use the herb oil. All right. So we're going to cook the leeks so it could give me the sense that I have red onion, except that it's green. I don't think I'm going to need all of this. Because, you know, everything in scale. You don't want to overdo one ingredient over another. But, you know, it's going to shrink once it cooks. So it might be okay. I may not use all of it, but let's go ahead and slice it up. You know, there's something else we used to make at the restaurant was caramelized onions. You know, you slice a bunch of onions and you let them cook down in butter. And then when you make, if you have salads or you're making burgers, and then you add that, oh my goodness. Listen. That's why sometimes, I remember I had a chef, he was also a butcher. And then one day he said, I love food. I said, well, you're in the right field, chef. Yes, he had that knife, boy, he can just slice up a pig in like minutes. And then one day we had a suckling pig that they cooked. Oh my gosh, I'm a wuss. I'm like, what are you doing to that poor little pig? I'm not eating that. Just so silly. He said, well, Maggie, you're not going to be able to pass my class. And I'm like, well, we have a problem, Houston, because I'm not eating that. And I think they just let it go. Thank God. All right, so we're going to use my old trusted skillet. This is my garnish. It's going to stay here. We're going to put our chili in there. We're going to put my herb oil in here. And you know, if you don't like oil, you're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of oil, Maggie." Well, it's olive oil. Does it matter? Does it make a difference? I think we should relax. We know the bad food that we're not supposed to eat. I can just even smell it already. The chili. I wish I could tell you the smell. And we're going to put some of that cumin seed in there so it can toast as well. I was so surprised when I found that, and I was so excited. When I found the cumin seed, I was like, ooh. So this is going to help our garnish. Yeah, we need more oil. But I will get the ghee, and then I'm going to use it, and I'll tell you if it tastes different. Cauliflower should come out. Oh, I smell it. Yes, cauliflower is done. The smell. Oh my goodness. All right, so now I have to slice the garlic, not crush it, okay? All right, so let's just slice this one. Small, thin slices. This is the garnish. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. And the chili we just put on top as a decoration. So let's put the garlic in. Check out Dahl. Dahl is cooking. Wow. And you know that's gonna taste good, right? I think we're good. Of course, I didn't fry any onions, but I think this is good enough to put on top of the dal as a decoration. All right, so I'm gonna turn that off. Put our cumin back up here, marjoram back up here, paprika. Right. Yes. And we're just about done, ladies and gents. Oh, I don't think anybody told me if they wanted me to do the couscous. Thank you so much. Did anybody say they wanted me to do the couscous or not? I don't recall. Tasting leaks. Crystal. All right. So no leaks, right? Oh, Julie, I think you're the one who suggested the loaf yesterday. I went and looked at some of the recipes, and it looks like a meatloaf. And I am not a meatloaf lover, so that's why I didn't do the lentil loaf. But this is a dal, so this is like the next best thing, right? So hopefully you'll be okay with if I didn't do it. All right, so we said no couscous, right? Okay. Nobody's saying we need to make couscous. That is good. The smell is so nice. But it needs to cook down a little bit more. Yeah, you see the texture is changing, it's thickening, but it looks amazing. For the first time for me making dal, I am very happy with the way it's turning out. Let me take the bay leaves out. I think we have enough spices. Ooh, the kitchen smells amazing. You know, I went to school with some Indian nurses. Not to school, to work when I was in the States. And when you go to their homes, I mean, they open the door and the smell hits you because all these spices mixing together. Oh. And I love the way they cook that jasmine rice with cinnamon and star anise. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This dal is looking amazing, okay? I'm just telling you. Look at this. And they say they just pour it on top of jasmine rice. Basmati, not jasmine, basmati. You know, I really don't know the difference between the two. If somebody knows, let me know, because I heard this guy saying he has a preference. I don't remember which one he prefers, but I mean, I grew up with a rice called Madame Goose. That's the kind of rice we grew up with. Look at that. Look at the texture of this. Wow. Oh. It's so good. Mm. I see why they would call it a comfort food. The Dahl is a comfort food. Look at this. So we have sancocho. As I said, it reminds me of sancocho, but I could eat this if I'm not feeling good over some rice. Yes. Look at that. It's so pretty. I need to take a picture. First time making it, and it's a winner. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat off. I don't want it to get thicker. And I think the consistency is just right. Okay. So we are ready to plate this beauty. Wow. Excellent day. So let us check on the avocado. You see what the avocado looks like. The Dahl is just nice. It's nice. Yes. All right. This is all goes in the trash. Alright. So now we have our plate. I think I'm just gonna put this on top as a garnish instead of, you know, I've seen them, if we had a lot of oil, you know, they pour it on here, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put it as a garnish, right? All right, let's check out the avocado. Let's be surprised together. I'm gonna cut a little piece, and not as good as the last one. You see, it's not buttery. When I say buttery, I mean it's supposed to be nice and orangey. Doesn't taste bad. Okay, that will work. Okay. because we don't have any couscous or anything. Okay. This is our doll. It looks amazing. We're gonna put the chili as a garnish. Okay. Then we're gonna put our onion, aka leeks, right? Put it right in the middle. Yes, yes, yes. Then the fresh garlic, yes. Oh. Listen. And then when you put your spoon in there and you take a little bit of that green onion and the fresh and the garlic, yes, yes, yes. Wow. Okay. So now let's add our cauliflower. Okay. So we're gonna put our cauliflower over here. And you know it's all good for you, right? So that shouldn't give you pause. You should just say, oh, I'm eating all this good food. It reminds me of the chefs that are putting the edible flowers, you know, with the little clip. What do you call those? And I always said I'm not the kind of chef that's going to be using edible flowers. But this is close. Oh, look how pretty. Wow. Okay. Now, we do have a little bit of that culantro. We're just going to put a little bit up here to kind of, as a garnish for contrast. And we're just going to put a couple of slices of avocados to finish it off. Oh, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Very much so. I just don't like big slices of avocado. I like them to be a little bit on the thin side. But that's just me. I need to cover that not so pretty spot. Yep, that works. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. This is the dough. Look at that. What do you think? Say good morning, good morning. Yes, thank you for loving my channel. I went Indian today. How is that? It looks pretty. I think it came out excellent. Meatless, right? So if you want to eat healthy, this is one. Yes, Greta. So we did the Dahl, Greta. We talked about it. We talked about it, and I was able to make it, and it came out just right. But remember, you can have it on top of rice or any kind of grain, or you could have naan bread or roti, which is Caribbean, Trinidadian, but I think all the colors kind of matched and balanced, and that fried leek instead of onion, yes, I think it came out really good. All right, I told you it would not take that long today, hour and 28 minutes, so we did good. All right, guys, have a good day. God loves you. Bye. A glass of wine with that. Bye-bye.